Hello, sisters. Welcome to the Sacred Medicine Podcast, weaving powerful, soulful practices into functional medicine. Step into this beautiful space of devotion and explore everything from nurturing foods, rituals, sexuality, and awakening your innate sensuality. It is time to own your radiance. This is the Sacred Medicine Podcast. Hello and welcome back to another week of the Sacred Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Margaret Romero, and this week we have a new guest, Jill Stanton. She is the co-founder of the podcast, Screw the 9 to 5. Her and her husband helped transform unsatisfied employees into successful entrepreneurs and gives them the skills, resources, and inspiration they need to grow their online business so they can work whenever they want from wherever they want. I just love that tagline. So I listened to Jill and her husband. I listened to their podcast. I've been listening to her for a while. And I thought, you know what, let me get her on the podcast so she can talk to any women that are listening right now, that are out there, that are, you've been maybe wanting to have an online business or wanting to be an entrepreneur. I've always dreamed of it. But you're working a job that you don't particularly like. I've been there, and you want to start something. And so I thought, you know what? It's 2019. If there's a woman out there that's listening, or a man, and you are really ready to just kind of dive right in and start like just baby steps into what is next and what does that look like, we go over like some of the main things that you need to really focus on. This is such an awesome interview with Jill. She's so laid back too, by the way. She's super funny. So if you haven't listened to her podcast, it's called Screw the 9 to 5. I would go ahead and take a listen. And we talk about like 8 main things that you need to have when you're going into maybe your first business and being an entrepreneur and just kind of maybe dipping your toe in and trying to see if this is what you want to do. So we talk about some really key things that I had to go through when I was building my business as well. But I will share one of them with you. One of the biggest ones, aside from once you know what you want and getting clear and everything, is to build an audience. And so we talk about how can you build your audience, because you can have the most beautiful, program, 6-week program, or you want to put together this amazing retreat, or you want to just have like this beautiful space where you want people to come and you want to give talks or whatever it is. You need to build an audience because you need people to come, that you need people to know about you, to come and attend your retreat or come to your talks or buy your course online. And so that's one of the things we talk about, is how to build the audience. Now look, building an audience, we could talk about hours for that, but it's something that you need to keep in mind if you are currently just starting a business or thinking about it. You need to know that you need to be on social media and all the things to get your name out there. So without further ado, I think you're really going to love this, because I love Jill. So you guys have to listen in on her podcast. Without further ado, on to the show. Jill, welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so excited to dive in. Thanks for having me.
So I invited you on the show because I know there are a lot of women listening who, it's now 2019, who are thinking, look, this is the year that I wanted, whatever it is, write that book, create my dream job or dream entrepreneurial, anything that they want. And I thought, who better than you, because you definitely walk your talk. Why don't we start just a little bit brief on like where you are today and what you do.
Yeah, sweet. So physically, I'm in Puerto Rico, hanging at I call it the House of Fire, the Casa del Fuego, which is really just John Lee Dumas and Kate Erickson's place in Puerto Rico. And I'm chasing the sun. I married an Australian, so as I told you before we started shooting, like staying in winter is not an option. Um,
Right.
and we essentially help transform unsatisfied employees into entrepreneurs, and so that all got
Love that.
started for us. Yeah. That all got started for us back in 2012. Josh and I each had our own separate businesses at the time. Um, he had a software company and he was doing a few courses. I think he had done like 2 or 3 courses at the time with a previous partner. And I had a social media marketing business for bars and restaurants in Toronto. So very location based. And we're both kind of getting disenchanted with our businesses around the same time. And so we're like, what would it look like for us to start a business together? And so first off, we did that the year we were getting married. Don't ever do that. It was a very challenging year. But when we decided to really go for it together, I was like, okay, so what are we going to do? And he's like, well, we could start an affiliate site because we didn't really know what to do.
Right.
Both of us had such different strengths. We didn't know how to blend them at the time. It was just kind of like I don't know, let's do something together. And he's like, we should start an affiliate site. I was like, sounds great. Cool. What is that? And so we just kind of battled through it. We figured it out. We threw stuff at the wall to see what worked. We cut what didn't, amped up what did, and we just rinse and repeat it until we had a network of 30 different affiliate sites. And then as it tends to happen, as you start changing your life and going down a new path, people started wondering, like, how do you guys make money? Like, what are you doing? You both quit your businesses. Like, what's going on here? And so we were actually in Costa Rica the week that we were getting married, and which is probably, the one week you're not supposed to work, but we were kind of a couple of maniacs at that time. So we were sitting on the balcony, listening to Bob Marley, having a couple rums, and we were about to move to Thailand because we had built up our business to about like $6,000 a month at that point through these affiliate sites. And so, Thailand or Southeast Asia, you might not know, but it is a huge hub for online entrepreneurs and digital nomads. And so we were going over to experience that. And so we wanted to create a site where we could share that journey and share the story and just kind of direct people when our friends and family ask, like, what do you guys do? And so he was like, well, what would we call it? And this is, again, a few rums in. So I was like, screw the 9 to 5. And we were both like, oh my God, I wonder if that's available.
Right.
And it was. So we grabbed it. And we kind of just sat on it because we didn't know what to do with it. We had never built a personal brand. We weren't coaches by any means. We were just a couple of affiliate marketers who had built this cool lifestyle for us. And so we just kind of like got stuck in analysis paralysis, not really knowing what to do. And then when we finally did hit the go button on the screw, it had zero direction. Like, it was pretty much a travel blog for a while, until it started picking up some momentum. We launched a course. It failed miserably, did 0 sales. And that really kind of course corrected us and put us on a better path, which was teaching what we knew. And at the time, that was affiliate marketing. And from there, everything started to pick up steam, and it transformed into this movement and into a free Facebook group, or a couple, which have both been since shut down, and a membership community, which we closed the chapter on just as of January 1st. And it's just become this destination for up and coming entrepreneurs who really need the skills and the knowledge and the inspiration to chase down their dreams and build something that matters to them. So here we are.
Amazing. And so now you're going to be in Puerto Rico for how long?
We're here for a month.
Oh, great. Great. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And when did you start the podcast?
So that started back in 2014 in the Philippines. And then we did I think about 140 episodes, and truthfully, I got burnt out with it and just kind of forced Josh to shut it down with me. And then, kind of dabbled in a few other things, and then I got pregnant, and then we were looking for a batchable form of content that we could stay really consistent with it. So we kicked back up our podcast and have been loving it ever since. So yeah, we've had it on and off since 2014.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. So for you guys listening, if you have not listened to our podcast, Screw the 9 to 5, you need to check it out. It's got so much valuable information. So, all right. So let's just talk about some of the things, because I know that there must have been times when you initially were first starting where, I mean, there was a time of little bits of confusion, maybe of like what to do, how to do it, and obviously some failures, the course that didn't sell. And I know there's always bumps in the road as entrepreneurs. It's never a steady, easy pace to run. Yeah. So can we go through some things that women listening who really want to make this the year that they start doing the thing? And a lot of them, I think the biggest fear is, listen, I have bills to pay. I'm not going to just quit my job to go paint or write a book or what have you. So, which I hear so much, and I'm sure you do too. What can we start doing if they have some dreams that just too scared to tap into?
Yeah. I mean, first you have to get out of your own way, right? Like normally the reason why we're so scared is we're gripped by a fear of judgment. What will people think? What will they say? What will happen if I fail? What will they think of me if I go for it? What will they think of me if I change, if I make a lot of money? What are the expectations? Like, all the things that we get in our heads around, it usually stops us before we even get started. So getting over that first and foremost. One of my favorite books for that kind of thing is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It is so good. You have to listen to the audiobook though, because literally this book is a book on neuroscience and quantum physics, which sounds crazy that I just even suggested anyone read that, but it's really quite good and it's not as dry as it sounds. I had to listen to it 4 times though, just keeping it real, because I would go back and be like, what? But that is such a great way to start getting out of your own way. But second is just getting clear. Like, what do you like doing? What are you really good at doing? And what do people ask you for advice around? I always see a lot of entrepreneurs or employees trying to make the jump to being an entrepreneur, getting in their head around like they have to have the perfect idea. No, you don't. I did not have a quote unquote passion before I started my business. I did what I was good at. I was a bartender for 10 years before I started a social media management company for bars and restaurants. The reason I did that is because A, I was a bartender. B, I mastered the art of small talk, and C, I just started doing that online. So I just started pitching that to people like, look, I'll get you more customers in the door by talking to people online. I'm a social butterfly. And so that's how I got started. The business you start with, or the idea you start with, the service, the product, the whatever, does not have to be, and probably will not be, the business you end up with. So stop getting in your own way, get over yourself, and just start putting something out there. Just start dreaming, getting clear on what you want your life and your this potential business to look like for you. And I think that's actually the starting place, the clarity. I don't think Josh and I ever sat down and consciously thought of this before we started this business 7 years ago now. And so we had a moment last year where we're very kind of just swept up in overwhelm and burnout and just completely unaligned with our business because we didn't do that work in the beginning to really figure out what we wanted. We just kind of went with it all. So clarity is number one. If you don't have that, you will find yourself just getting so caught up in shiny object syndrome, in comparison, in imposter syndrome. It'll just spiral. So please get clear on what you want your life to look like, who you want to be. Like, how do you want to show up? Like, future you, who is she? Right? Start being that way now. And then what kind of business is she running? Is she a coach? Does she have a course? Is she a service provider? What does she do? Does she impact a bazillion people, or is she more of a tight-knit crew kind of person? Like, what does that look like for you? And then again, getting clear on those skills. Like, what are you really good at? What do you like? And what do people ask you about? Then start. I mean, I always feel like one of the easiest ways for people to find their first or next client, customer, audience member, whatever, is free Facebook groups. So joining groups that are aligned with what you want to do, even if you don't have a 100% perfect vision, just start joining some groups that are aligned with your interests and start searching using the search bar in groups for the questions people are asking around whatever you're good at, and start engaging with those people, answering their questions, helping them out. And then when they reach out to you privately, which they will, especially if you deliver a lot of value, then you start, just dancing around the idea of potentially working together or straight up make an offer, whatever feels best to you. But that's one of the easiest ways to get started, in my opinion, at least.
Oh, I love that. So, okay. So getting clear, knowing what you want. And I think that what about the people that have are multi-passionate and have many things, and they're like, well, these 5 things, and they're very different, and I love them all, and I'm really good at it, but I'm not sure what to do first.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to make some tough choices. Like, I would love to be the type of person who's like, you can do all of them. But I'm a tough love kind of gal. And I'm like, yo, pick one, roll with it. I actually think that it is detrimental to focus on all the things in the beginning. Pick one, single focus, build some momentum, get it going, and then you can layer in the other thing, the other however many. And it doesn't always have to be that your passions all become businesses. They can just be parts of your story or elements of your brand that just give it more personality. Like Josh is obsessed with pugs. There's no effing way I'm ever having a pug business. You know what I mean? But it's such a huge part of our brand. People send him pug things. Like he has these atrocious pug pillows, which he loves so much. And I keep in the closet because I'm like, nah, bro, we're not keeping those out on where people can see them. But like that kind of stuff, just because you're passionate about dogs doesn't mean you have to be a dog trainer. You can just make that part of your story and layer it into your brand and have that as a connection piece.
Oh, I love that. Okay. That's good. Okay. So let's say we're like, all right, I know what I want. I got this thing, whatever. Maybe it's a book that you want to write and you've been just procrastinating, or you finally I'm clear about writing this and getting this out there. Then what do you think the next step should be?
Doing the work, building an audience. Building an audience, number one, actually. Getting clear and being the way you want to be as future you now, that's step number one for sure. But building an audience is freaking crucial if you want to do anything online. Attention is the currency online. And the way you build that is through content. And I know everyone's like, man, I don't want to create content. Well, then sucks to be you, because that is truly how the internet is run. Social media, you create content, podcast content, blog posts, content, videos, content. It doesn't have to be long-winded, novel length things. Micro content is perfectly acceptable. Look at how many people have huge followings on social media by just hammering their stories. There's so many ways to build an audience, but it starts with creating content that delivers some form of value. Hopefully it's high impact and, unfortunately, high frequency. And I say unfortunately because a lot of people get in their heads around that. And so they don't do the work because they don't want to stay consistent with it. But if you actually want to build a sustainable business, you have to do some things that you don't always want to do. And one of those is creating content. And I just think that people give up way too soon because they don't see the immediate results. But this stuff takes time, because here's the truth. Anyone can make money online. Chuck up a website, throw some AdSense on it. You're making a few cents. You're making money online, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a whole different beast to build a business. And that's why it's not cut out for everyone. So the people who do make a good go of it are the ones who have dedication and commitment, and they're resilient, and they have a vision, and they're committed to making it happen no matter what. If that's something you want, then you have to suck it up and do the work. So creating content, building an audience. Step
And-
1, step 2.
And so building the audience. So when you say content, that could be social media post, blogging, vlogging, podcasting,
live streaming.
Okay. And then I can hear the women saying, well, I have a full-time job. I've got 2 kids. When do you think that I could possibly have the time to shoot a video? I mean, then that's the other thing. And like having the time to do all this. And then do you hire somebody to do it? What are your thoughts around that?
Well, do you have time to watch TV? Because if you have time to watch TV, you have time to create content, right? Like it's priorities. It's
Right.
about how bad do you want it? If you're going to sit there and make excuses, then you don't want it that bad.
Right.
And I know that's a bit forceful, but it's the truth. So
It is.
you'll set boundaries. You'll find ways. We sit and scroll social media for hours. You could cut all of that and just put that energy and that focus towards actually building something that'll give you some sort of return other than causing you to compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel on Instagram.
Right.
Let's show the highlight reel, REAL, which is you building your effing business and prioritizing your time.
Right.
Because we all have weekends, and I get it. You have kids. Totally. I understand. I am a new mom myself. It's way harder than I expected it to be. And it zaps your energy on certain days or just every day that ends in a Y. But you also can set priorities. You can also hire a babysitter. You can also tag in your significant other. You could also ask for help from your friends and family. There are ways to do that. You can carve out 1 hour a day at the end of your day or at the beginning before your kids wake up and use that towards building your business. You don't need 30, 40, 50 hours a week to get your business off the ground. You just need 60 to 90 minutes of focused, no BS time each day. And maybe carve out 4 hours on the weekend, or even better, 6. You know what I mean? There's ways to make it happen if you really want it. One of our members inside Screw You, his name was Jason Brown, and JB. And that's literally just a side joke only I will get, since no one's around me who would understand that. But he built his business on the side up to $500,000 a year before he even quit. And I remember saying to him so many times, like, JB, you're making $500,000 a year. I think it's safe to quit your job now, homie. Because but his mindset was like, I want to prove that I can continue building this on the side because I don't want my business to take over my life when I quit my job. So I want to get things in place that allow me to continue working part-time when I quit. So if he can do it and build it to that amount of money, anyone can do it. He has a new baby. He has a wife. He had a job. He was a manager of a huge team. So if they can do it, you can do it. It's just about cutting the excuses and getting down to work and prioritizing your time and your dreams and everything that you want for your life. Because on the other side of that is where the magic happens. And then if you do tag in your partner and you ask for their help in watching the kids or helping you carve out time or whatever, they're going to reap the benefits of all of that when you're raking in the cash. So, I mean, what do you want more? To stay stuck or to go to bat for the life you want? Going to bat for the life you want needs prioritization, and it needs time dedicated to this dream.
Totally. Yeah. So let's just cut down on the Netflix
binging.
All right. So building an audience, we got Instagram, Facebook, we've got all the things that you want to do, whatever platform people prefer. Some people like to write, some people don't mind being in front of the camera. Sometimes, and some people just love doing podcasting. Okay, so building your audience. So let's say we start building that. What else should we start having in place or thinking about next?
Really all you need, truthfully, honest to God, the 3 things you need is a website, an email list, an opt-in to collect emails, and some content. That's pretty much it. You can easily make money and build a business with those 3 things. That's all you need. All you need is an audience of people who want what you have. That's it.
Yeah.
And you just need a platform you own, because if you sit there and create an audience and build your whole audience on someone else's platform, i.e. Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, whatever, Pinterest. If something goes wrong or if you violate any of their terms, your audience is gone, because they'll take you down. But if you build your own, you have your website, you collect emails, you build your own traffic, that is an asset you own. That's leverage. And you can use that to make money. That's all you need. And essentially build an audience, sell them what they want. The two steps of business.
And so, people are like, well, how do I make money online? And I don't know how to do all these things. They have the talent, but like let's say they want to write a book or they just want to start their own business, whatever that is, but they're not really sure how to go about doing it. Mm-hmm. What do you think about, is it crucial for everyone to sort of hire a business coach or mentor or something like that?
No. I actually think that is just like this insane rhetoric online. So many other people have built businesses without coaches. Obviously, it's helpful to have them. And a mentor is great. But it's not going to make or break you or your business or your dreams for that matter. All you need is some grit and some dedication to figure it out. You just need to be resourceful. The internet is full of free tutorials now.
True.
I have a full-on free guide, which is just truthfully not even an opt-in. It's just a ridiculously long blog post that Josh wrote. But it's how to start an online business that's right for you, because not everyone has to be a coach. Not everyone has to have a course. Not everyone has to have a membership site. People, like, if you're in the same boat as Josh and I were, and you don't really know what you wanted to do, and you're like, oh, affiliate marketing sounds cool, which is truly just connecting your audience to different products, programs, and services that you use, like, or believe in, and you get a commission if they click your link and buy. That's a way to make money online. That's a way to build business. That is the entire revenue model for Screw the 9-to-5. We don't sell any of our own stuff anymore. There's so many options for you to build a business. If you want, I can send you that blog post and you can put it in your show notes, because I feel like it would be wildly helpful for people.
Yeah, I'd love it.
To read. And it'll just walk you through, like, I think he has 7 different business models on there that you could get started with for pretty much barely any investment, like maybe $100 or $200. So, you have so many options online now. This post will really help reel those in and give you exactly what you need and the resources to get started with it.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll put that in the show notes. Okay. So don't really need a mentor. You just kind of need to kick your own ass and start doing things and using time effectively and making time, whether that's hiring a babysitter for, I don't know, what, couple of hours a week, a few hours a week, or
however many you can do. I'm the type of mom who needs space. So, we're going to Bali in March for 2 months. And when I was I found a nanny service there that's Australian run, but Bali local. And she was saying, okay, how many hours would you like? And I was like, oh, I guess we'll do 25. And she's like, great. The nanny is $6 an hour. I was like, pardon? I'll take 40. Because I know that the more space Josh and I have to not just work, but the more space we have to just think of new ideas, spread the word on the Screw, that grows our business. So however much childcare you can afford, however much time people will give you, as many hours as you can possibly do in the beginning, I think is useful within your own boundaries. That's always a personal decision. Some women love momming 24/7. I'm like, go for it. I wish I was you. I'm not, though. I'm the type of mom who needs space in order to show up well for my son. And so you just have to get clear on what boundaries you're willing to set. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just about prioritizing your desire, and your commitment to building your business. And then, like I said, it's all about being resourceful. Like, if you want it, you'll find a way to make it happen. And you can use free resources like the Screw to really direct you in the right place and give you the tools and the skills to make it happen. Because I think online, a lot of people build it up to be harder than it needs to be, because they make it way more complicated than it needs to be. But like I said, all it comes down to is building an audience and selling them what you want, or selling them what they want. Sorry. And so, like we talked about, that can happen as easily as joining some free Facebook groups. It can happen as easily as creating some really great content and staying present on social media. There's so many ways to make this happen now. There's never been an easier or better time to start a business than now. And so it's all just up to you and your willingness to go for it.
Awesome. And so what other things would you say women can hire out for? Let's say they don't have children.
Yeah.
What sort of things have you, or what are things that could just give them more time?
Like life things or business things?
Both.
Okay. So life things, cleaning, please God, stop cleaning your own house. It's the worst, isn't it? But that'll give you back at least an hour or two per week. Grocery delivery, that's awesome. Meal prep, that's wicked. There's so many things that you can do. Laundry, things like TaskRabbit, right? Like doing errands, going to the mailbox, whatever, mailing whatever you need to mail. I don't know, just like any errands in your life. There's an app called TaskRabbit, and you can get all of these things done from people who just have a side hustle working with TaskRabbit, and they go do your errands for you. Even like you can hire someone to go stand in a really long line for you. Like say you have to go renew your license or something. You're like, shit, that's going to be like 3 hours at, the Department of Transportation. Right. You can hire someone to go sit in line for you. So you're not wasting that time. You can sit there and devote that time to your business.
Yeah.
In your business, you can please, absolutely, if you're going to sell anything that requires any level of customer support, please hire someone to do that, because nothing sucks more than doing your own customer support, especially if someone's like, I want a refund, screw you. And you're like, oh, that clearly means I'm a horrible person. You need to stop doing your own customer support. Right. It will just lower your vibe in such a quick way, and it's not necessary. Having a VA even just to handle outreach for getting you on other people's podcasts, or moderating your comments on your website, or posting to social media for you. Like you create the captions, give them the photos, and they go with it, and they answer the comments if you feel so bold, or they manage your email, or they book your flights, whatever it is. Like all the inexpensive tasks that are time sucks should not be done by you. And if you do already have a business per se, one book I love for getting really clear on this is called Clockwork. And that's written by Mike Michalowicz and his partner. And that is a girlfriend of mine, Adrienne Dorison. And it is all around, their tagline is Operation Vacation. So yes, please. And it's all around building a business that not only runs without you, but grows without you. Nice. And so they have this system of identifying the tasks that are not only sucking your time, but are just way below what you should be doing and can be hired out for much cheaper than what you should be doing it for. So I love that book, and I always use it as a good gut check when I'm like, shoot, I'm doing my own emails, which I am still very guilty of. I still schedule my own podcast interviews and all of that kind of stuff. That's ending this year, but for years I've done that. So I'm definitely not perfect around that, but I know for a fact that I should not be doing it. So if you're in that boat as well, just hiring someone to help you and just handle the daily ops of things is a huge help.
Awesome. Yeah, grocery shopping could take, and usually sometimes it's not just going to one grocery store. It's like, I got to go to like all three, and they each have different things. And so yeah, I get, and it sucks up. Like 3 hours can pass easily running around, doing errands, picking up dry cleaning or whatever. All right. I love that. Okay. So you have now the time to sit and do the thing that you want. You're building your audience. Maybe you're hiring someone to like get a website together, or I know there's a couple of things that you can do if you have some kind of design. I don't know. I'm totally not that person. I need to hire out for some of these things, but I know there are some places, right? I'm forgetting the name, that
Well,
It's like,
there's things like Upwork or 99 Designs. There's really great website themes now that literally are plug and play.
right.
And also in the beginning, your website does not need to be super flash. It really doesn't. Like no one's coming to your website that is just very basic looking and being like, you know what? I was going to work with her, but her website just isn't as good as I thought it would be. If you're really rocking someone's world through your content or your communication with them, that is not going to bother them.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
And if it does, do you really want to work with them? No. There's so many more people you could help and impact.
I think one of the other things too, though, which I think is so crucial and important, is consistency. Yet I think sometimes getting too busy or just kind of like, oh, this week I just didn't post anything, or oh, damn it. Like, how do you stay consistent? How do you keep on top of things?
I mean, it's such a habit for me now. It's just who I am now. I had to develop that muscle over years. It's who I want to be. Like future Jill is consistent. So that's who I have to be now.
Right.
Future Jill is not someone who is procrastinating and not making shit happen. Like that is not how she shows up. And so because I know that, I had to be that way now. And so that's why when I say you have to get clear on like who you want to be in the future, like, do you want to be stressed out? Do you want to be surrounding yourself with negative people? Do you want to be working on bullshit tasks? Do you want to be scrolling Facebook and being like, I wonder what my ex-boyfriend from high school is doing? Like, no. Right? You want to have ease in your life. You want to be happy. You want to be enthusiastic. You want to be prioritized. You want to be consistent. You want to be dedicated. You want to be in the flow. You want to be in demand. There's certain things that you want to be. You have to get clear on like how you want to feel and then be that way now. And so if you want to feel consistent, if you want to feel in control of your life, be that way today.
Wow. Yes. Now, do you have a calendar? How do you keep it all like this day I'm doing podcasts?
Sure, I have a calendar.
Is it online? Is it a paper one?
Oh, no, I just use my iCal. I mean, I have Google Calendar, but I'm so horrible with it. I just always use my iCal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so are there certain days that you already have written down? Like, okay, Mondays are the day that I write, or Tuesdays
now, because we're in Puerto Rico and my childcare situation is weird, I literally am rotating between 3 babysitters here.
Okay.
Just to try and cover my work days. So it's a bit weird right now. Like my current nanny can only work 1:30 to 6. And so there's certain things that Josh and I are doing to like cover so that we can hang out with Kai. So we're present for him. Like that's a huge value of ours, is being present for our son and not being distracted, and like these dickhead parents who are just like sacrificing this time with him to build our business. Like that's not what we started this business for. So we're kind of trading off. So right now I don't have that structure during the month of January, but in February I have Media Week, and Media Week is where I do all my interviews for other people's stuff. Then we have our podcast batch. We shoot 3 months worth of content within the space of like 7 working days. So we plan it all, we shoot it all, send it off to our editors, all of that kind of stuff. So we batch hardcore because we do 3 episodes a week now. So we have to have certain time blocks for certain amounts of things. Like it's really important to me to keep spreading the word on the screw. So I have Media Week where I can get on other people's shows, or we have our podcast batch, or we have time where we have an email roundup series called The Hookup, which if you've ever read The Skim, is quite similar to that. So I have a batch set where I get to write that, or we have promos coming up. We're doing a pop-up group called the Audience Accelerator. So there's time batched for that. Like we just chunk and theme our weeks pretty much.
Oh, got it. Okay. And so you find that that's better for you than, okay, Monday we've got 2 hours. We're just going to do a little bit of this. You do it like week by week.
Well, if I had to be in that situation, I try my hardest to avoid that kind of stuff. But for example, like we have to go back to Toronto for 3 days because Kai needs his 1-year shots. So for those 3 days that we're in Toronto, I'm not going to have childcare. So like, yeah, we'll trade off, and I'll be like, okay, cool. I have these 4 hours. I need to get this done. So that's all I'm going to do for those 4 hours. But so I won't have that themed or anything like that. That'll kind of be like taking care of the stuff that has to get done. And then once we're back in a regular routine where we have childcare and all the things, then we get back into our scheduled month, really. But I mean, I could definitely be better at it. That's the thing. Like, you never have it all figured out. Like, it's never going to be perfect. It's always evolving. It's constantly improving. So my calendar schedule or my way of doing things might be totally chaotic for someone else who is like hella organized, but it works for me and I understand it and I get to boss Josh around through it. And so it's great for us. But will it always be that way? Probably not, especially as we bring on our executive assistant. I'm sure the chick we are going to hire will have like just this. She'll be details, right? She'll be super detailed. She'll be super resourceful and she'll handle that. So she'll take the calendar system and finesse it to her way. And then we'll all fall in line with that. So it'll evolve and change.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So let's add in one more thing that we can do. You know, we've got clear, we're building an audience. We've got maybe a website going on. We're collecting some emails and we're just sort of kind of like in hustle mode. You know, we've hired maybe some childcare or someone to do our laundry or do our errands. And what else? Is there one other thing that just to kind of be on top of or to know?
Surround yourself with good people. 100%. Like, do not surround yourself with a bunch of downers because they will just kill your vibe so fast. And like, truthfully, if you want to change your life, do you want to stay around people who are negative? No, it's so obvious as you start to change, it is going to become glaringly obvious how scarcity minded, how negative some people are,
Totally.
How resistant to change people are. You are going to want to find a crew, a high vibe tribe, right? Like, you are really going to want to find good people to surround yourself with, people who get this journey, people who get you and your dreams and your aspirations and don't belittle them or subconsciously undermine them. You know, you need to upgrade your circle and be unapologetic about it. Set boundaries. Like, I had to have the most awkward conversation of my life last year, mid-year, when I had to just kind of like cancel a friendship. I just was like, I'm sorry. I just feel like we're in such different places. And I know this sounds like such a dick thing to say, but I'm out of integrity by faking this with you. And I would much rather stay true to myself and like have this awkward conversation versus being a shitty friend to you. Right. And not showing up the way that I would want me to show up if it were me on the receiving end of it. So I wish you nothing but the best. But I just think for now we go our separate ways. It was such an awkward conversation because then she came back and she was like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And I was like, oh, I thought that was going to be the end of it.
Oh, no.
And so then the conversation had to go back again, you know, but like it eventually worked out. And so I went through that terribly awkward conversation in order to upgrade my circle even more. And so you need to do that. And I feel like the more you get into this world, the more you'll realize that you really have what it takes, and you'll really find out what you're made of and what you will allow yourself to be surrounded by and subjected to once you start really prioritizing yourself and your dreams and the life you want for yourself and your family and your kids.
Totally. And I think that there comes a time when, as you start to evolve and grow and you start to kind of move apart from former friends, sometimes those don't even require conversations. Sometimes they just kind of tend to just die off slowly. And
Totally.
And then you just don't talk again or whatever. It's just
phases out.
Exactly. Because there's a lot of people who are so fearful of like not having a job, that they project that on someone, let's say like me as an entrepreneur, who are like, oh my God, I would never just try to do that because aren't you scared that you I mean, first of all, I would never tell people to just quit their job and do their thing.
No.
Right.
I mean,
Would
some
you?
people are burn the boats kind of people, but I always think that it's better to have a runway, to have a plan, to at least have some money coming in, right? Otherwise, like
Yeah.
if you are in a tough spot financially, you are going to make decisions out of desperation, and that's never a good place to make business decisions from. And so I really think you have to get clear on what you're comfortable with. Some people are like, nah, F it, I'm out. And I'm like, okay, props. I do not have that tolerance for risk. I
Right.
am much more of a like, I like a cushy runway. So you got to do what works for you and your family and what you're comfortable with. And you need to have conversations with whoever you need to have conversations with. And then you need to make the best decision for yourself. But I'm never going to be the type of person who's like, yeah, just screw it. Well, that's ironic. I was going to say screw the 9 to 5. But like, like do your due diligence, be a freaking adult about this and make sure that your bases are covered.
Right. Well, because the job could support your dream while you're doing both things at the same time, whether you need that income to hire a VA or to get your website. You need it. Just, I think personally that it has for me as well, supported me into getting the things that I need to get the dream entrepreneurial thing off the ground rather than quitting one thing. And then it could be a really scary place for a lot of people.
Yeah. And you're stressed and then you show up in a bad way. And I think a lot of people vilify jobs. I mean, ironic considering I have a brand called Screw the 9 to 5, but I don't think there's any shame in having a job while you build your business. Like, I don't care if people have a job. Like, I remember people used to come into our membership site and say like, oh, I think I might have to go back to my job while I build this. And I was like, good, do it. Because then you're not going to make shitty decisions in your business.
Right.
Like there's no point in putting yourself under this level of stress because then you are just going to look for the easiest way to to make money. And that's not a long-term business. Like if you want to have a long-term business, you need to be playing the long game. And that's being patient and not making crappy decisions for the sake of a few $1,000s.
Plus, I mean, I feel like when that kind of stress comes around and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay this or that this month. Oh my gosh, how creative can you really be to write that thing or finish your book? I mean, I feel like under amounts of stress, I don't feel very creative.
No, I want to hide when I'm super stressed. I'm just like, oh my God, I do not want to be doing this right now.
Right.
Like you don't show up in your best way.
Yeah.
It's sad, but true. And so trying to avoid that is optimal. And whatever you need to do to make that happen. And if that is a job, cool. And if it's a side hustle, cool. Like whatever you need to do. There's no shame in that. Just like get your shit done so that you can build this business, so that you can stop doing that and go full time into your business.
Right. Exactly. Oh my God, Jill, these were like words of wisdom.
It was such a good combo.
Tell us, how can people find you?
Easiest way, screwthe9to5.com, all spelt out, no numbers. Or I don't know about anyone else, but I am inappropriately obsessed with Instagram. So I am hanging out over there at screwthe9to5. Again, that's all spelt out, no numbers.
And the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, also that. Screw the 9 to 5 podcast. You can listen to that on iTunes, Spotify, on our website, like all the places. And then we also have that roundup series that I was telling you about called The Hookup. And that's for online entrepreneurs who want to strengthen their game and build their bottom line.
And what is that? An online thing? Is that a virtual? Is it?
It's a
live?
Email roundup series. Each week I send it out on Sundays because I know that a lot of 9-to-5ers hate Mondays. And so I just want to kind of inspire them and motivate them and equip them for the week ahead with some really great podcast episodes or blog posts I find or interviews I find or books I'm reading. It's essentially like a curation of resources, cool quotes, books, interviews, podcast episodes, blog posts, videos, anything, events, tools, anything I love that I think is worth spreading the word on. It's essentially like, if you know the Skim, which is essentially like a roundup curation of the, biggest highlights in news each day for millennial women, it's that, but for online entrepreneurs.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
And it's only once a week because no to daily emails. No to writing them is what I mean.
Exactly. And so you don't work like with people one-on-one or people anymore?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we do our bonus experiences. So we have a few bonus experiences coming up for different programs that we're supporting. So in March, we are supporting Selena Sue's Impacting Millions. We have a 4-week bonus experience off that. In May, we do Stu McLaren's Tribe, which is a course on how to build a membership site. And we have a cool bonus experience off that with a live event. And then we have one with James Wedmore for Business by Design. And we also have a live event plus a live coaching experience off the back of that. So those are the ways we get to still work with people.
Got it.
In a group setting, which I love because it's finite and it's not 24/7 like what we had inside our membership community. And it just lights us up and we get to connect with people and help them get big breakthroughs. So I love that side of it, but that's the only way you can work with us now, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, let's see. All right. So I've got 3 really quick questions that I end my podcasts with. Let's see. Are there any books? Is there a book that you're reading right now that you're absolutely loving?
It's called, let me grab it off Audible actually, because I don't want to butcher it. It's called The Genie Within. And it's all around understanding your subconscious. Okay. The Genie Within, Your Subconscious Mind, How It Works and How to Use It. Harry W. Carpenter is the author.
Okay, cool. What's one of your favorite apps?
Instagram right now, but also Slack and let me look. Lightroom. Hello. Presets and filters for Instagram.
Cool.
And then Unfold, which is also a stories app for Instagram. I literally am way too obsessed with Instagram.
Oh, I have to check that out. Unfold.
Yeah, it helps you create really cute stories. And then Slack, of course, it runs my life pretty much.
Right. And let's see. What's my last question too? What is something that you just have no problem spending a lot of freaking money on? Like a guilty pleasure. Childcare?
For sure right now.
Okay.
But I also love me some good spa days. Like I have zero qualms about doing some sick spa days. I think it's half the reason we're going to Bali is because both Josh and I call him a massage whore because when we lived in Thailand, he would get one every day. And I'd be like, okay, reel it in. Like this is getting out of control. But he found a service where Balinese massage therapists come to your villas and it's just getting out of control. We're not even there for another 2 months. So absolutely spa days with my hubby is number one. And travel. Like we love throwing down for cool experiences.
Nice. How is it traveling now with a baby on board?
He's such a champ. I think because we set the intention of like, let's train him young.
Yeah.
He'll be coming up on his 6th flight. And we have 7 more flights coming up. So we've got a lot of travel. We're in Puerto Rico right now, then Florida, then Toronto, then San Diego, then Australia, then Bali, then back. And then our friends John and Kate are coming to Toronto, and then we're all going to go to Paris. So yeah, he's getting those miles in.
He's getting them in. Yeah.
He needs a freaking flyer card for sure.
Now he's how old is he now?
Literally not even 11 months.
Oh, okay. So he flies free, right?
Yeah, he flies free.
Which is nice.
I'm milking that as long as and then he's going to have to start a business and pay for his own. Kidding, but not.
Exactly. All right. Well, Jill, thank you so much. These were awesome, awesome tips. And thanks for keeping us motivated and lighting our fire under our asses. And hopefully this will be the year that you women listening out there will do the thing that you've been wanting to do for so long. This is the year to do it.
I love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Jill. Have a great day. All right. So isn't she so amazing and funny? I just really enjoyed our conversation. So to learn more about her and to find her everywhere and her husband, head on over to margaretromero.com/episode 109. And if you have not been following me on Instagram, head on over to Margaret Romero. And I am there just throwing out some good stuff, whether it's women's empowerment, which I just love doing a lot of. You also catch me. I am coming out of my hiding now. I feel like time is over. Kind of been hibernating this winter, if you all have not noticed. And I'm going to be way more active on Instagram. And I also have a new book that's going to be coming out. It is for women, or actually men and women, who have any issues with autoimmunity, lupus. I have that coming out. It's a short manual, so I'm excited. If you are interested in that, head on over to Instagram, because I will talk about that as well. But I am going to be talking about that more on upcoming episode here on the Sacred Medicine Podcast. So stay tuned wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for listening. Love to you all. Bye for now.